The foremost thing that LAP does is save lives, but the tangent, that ripple effect, is mending families and saving careers.
We lose an attorney, a judge, a law student every month to suicide or chronic health issues or substance use issues.
LAP was the one thing that allowed me to save my law practice and the only thing that allowed me to get my career back on track.
We hear about people suffering. We hear about our colleagues that are overwhelmed, overburdened.
I became acquainted with an attorney almost 20 years ago. The attorney just said that his involvement in the intervention with LAP saved his life.
I was on a spiral down. I refused to acknowledge it because of denial. If I hadn't stopped, not only would my career have been lost, but I would have drunk myself to death.
There was a study published in part by the American Bar Association.
And what they found was 21% of attorneys were struggling with substance use issues,
which is twice as high as the general population. 28% met clinical criteria for major depression disorder.
19% said they had anxiety disorders, and 23% said they had chronic stress issues.
You're making decisions that involve the fundamentals of people's lives. There's a lot of heartache, there's a lot of tragedy, there's a lot of drama.
Within the legal profession, there are a lot of stigmas surrounding help-seeking behaviors.
They're the caregivers to others, and they often have difficulty asking for help themselves.
People used to think it's a weakness, and if you're a lawyer and you're going into court and you've been taught, okay, I need to win this case, and I can't be seen as weak, and that's where the problem lies. There's no weakness in seeking help.
And people often find they'll call us, and that's the hardest part, is saying, hey, I need some help. Once they get here, they realize we're pretty friendly, we're welcoming, and they can come in and get the help they need.
What comes to LAP stays at LAP, and we can't share it with anyone. And so people feel a freedom in coming here.
What happens when you strip away that veneer, you can see attorneys being vulnerable to each other.
LAP is there to welcome them, to give them support, to give them comfort, to give them guidance, all without making judgment.
We really try to be a foundation for this community where we bring together group meetings, we bring together alternative networking activities.
We do interventions as well. If somebody calls up and says, I think my colleague is having a problem, or my family member.
LAP is there to simply help that person, lawyer, judge, law student, whatever it might be, get through the suffering that they're experiencing, learn to adjust their life, and then learn to move on with their life.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what somebody in recovery like myself can offer another judge, another lawyer, or a law clerk.
8 years ago, I was sitting in a place where I was at the end of my rope. I never ever would have dreamed that life could be so good.
I love this work, I really do. It's really gratifying to see somebody who comes in feeling really down or extremely anxious and getting some tools that help them redirect their life in a positive way.
So for me, one of the big things was to increase self-referral rates so that people said, I need help. And through social outreach with Shelley, through the great clinical skills of Joe and Tony, we've increased from 50% to 69% in just over a year.
I can't say enough about what they do, and the fact that there's no judgment, there's no cost, it's confidential.
And each time you help an attorney or a law student or a judge, you're helping their clients get the justice that they seek.
It is a necessity. We need that resource. We need people to understand that resource is available to them.
We help people whether they have any insurance or not. We find them treatment, but if we don't have the money, we can't do that.
We're one of the few lawyers assistance program that is staffed by clinicians. And as a result, our outreach increases each year. Our funding has remained stagnant, unfortunately, and so I have to figure out creative ways to increase fundraising because I refuse to turn a single person away.
We have a staff that is is a wonderful staff, perfectly capable of addressing all that they can address, but they can't address everything. So for everyone they address, we don't know how many are slipping through the cracks, but we know that there are others out there.
LAP can do so much more. We want to do so much more, but we really do need the resources to be able to expand services, being able to take that message past we are just the substance use to we could really evolve the profession into a more resilient class of leaders is something that is invaluable to our court system and beyond.
We save one person at a time. And when you do that, you can make a real difference.